I've covered artists breaking out this year, and one many of you have asked me to make a full video on is Tyla. She's appeared here and there on my channel during my Grammy, VMAs, videos, the year-end song list. For her standout worldwide smash Water, Water is not only a top 10 hit around the world, but it was also the inaugural winner of the Best African Music Performance Grammy, and it's a perfect example of word-of-mouth grassroots marketing. Tyla herself has been likened by many to being the next generation Rihanna, a very lofty comparison that I see a little bit of merit in, though Tyla's very much her own artist. In this video, I'm going to run down her explosive journey so far, some career analysis, and a full review of Tyla Plus, the deluxe version of her debut record. So exactly who is Tyla? Tyla Laura Sithal has been working at her career since the end of her high school years. Like many artists today, she actually posted a lot of covers onto Instagram and YouTube, where she was eventually discovered by management. Tyla actually spent a lot of her senior year in the recording booth. Her first independent single, Getting Late, dropped in 2019, but it did not find success until 2021 when a music video for it went viral. At the time, Tyla herself had been studying mining engineering in university, and she had to basically beg her parents to take a leap year to pursue music. That same year, she was signed to Epic Records and Vax, her current label. She also released the song Overdue and To Last, but she really started to get real attention when she performed Been Thinking at a Dolce & Gabbana party for Milan's Fashion Week last year. That was the same year that she released Water in July as the lead to her then upcoming debut. She became the youngest and first ever South African solo artist to chart in the US Hot 100. Correction on that last point, I believe someone else from South Africa had charted, but that was almost 60 to 70 years ago. Tyla is considered the queen of Popiano, a fusion of her native country's Amapiano genre and conventional pop. Amapiano is known for its heavy reliance on piano melodies, soul influences, and the use of the log drum. There's a very unique texture and sound to it. I feel like the richness to the bass that comes from that log drum. I feel like Tyla takes that sound and just infuses Afro beats and R&B to it, which gives her this very flexible, dynamic feel that led her to breaking out. She has a clear love of her African roots. Her dream is being the first global pop star from Africa, a dream that I think is coming true. Capitalizing off Water, she went on to release the underrated Truth or Dare and a few other singles to promo her debut record. She became the youngest ever African artist to win a Grammy when Water won Best African Music Performance. She went on to release her debut back in March, Tyla, which was just really critically adored and went on to modestly chart in major territories. She'd go on to collect a few more awards, even drawing unnecessary hate at the VMAs for jokingly saying the award was heavy and having a presenter hold the trophy while she was giving her speech. A tour was actually planned for this record, but it had to be delayed due to an injury she sustained before it'd start. Most recently, she released a deluxe version, Tyla Plus, anchored by the wonderful Push to Start, her latest single, which has been stuck in my head all week. It was recently performed at the Victoria's Secret's fashion show alongside Water, which brings us to our album review. Overall thoughts, Tyla's debut is very disciplined for a debut record. Oftentimes, debut records tend to be an artist figuring out who they are while the record is going. It's usually a grab bag of hits and a few B-sides to show their range. Tyla swings out of the gate knowing that she's a Popiano queen. She knows what this album's gonna be, so it's very slick, cohesive, and nearly skipless. It flows like one living record that's meant to be listened front to back. I normally have notes about track listings, but honestly, this one's just about perfect, and scarily enough, even if you rearrange parts of it, it would still work. Lyrically, the record's focused mostly on self-empowerment, romance, going right and wrong. There are splashes of personality that really do hint at her wittiness and her potential as a lyricist down the line. The record contains a few collaborations, all of which never feel tacked on. My two favorites have to be with Becky G, who I felt never got her due as an artist, and fellow Afrobeats queen Thames. My only complaint with this record is how the marketing has been so far. I feel like Epic and Vax haven't been the best at striking while the iron is hot. Granted, this year and this summer were pretty stuffed in terms of release, but Push to Start needs to be pushed as much as Water has been. I think that it has a lot of potential. It could be another smash for her. And I do think that this album might actually be a surprise contender at the upcoming Grammys for some big categories, including the highly contested Album of the Year award. My last note is the deluxe name being Tyla Plus is ingenious. It's elegant, to the point, and kind of funny. And now here's the track by track. So Tyla Plus actually puts the deluxe tracks at the start, likely because they know everyone's listened to the record, so let's just start here. Sheikah with Tony Eduardo, Optimus Music, and Easy Maestro is a proper Amapiano song. It's very lengthy in its construction. The usage of Sepedi and Zulu dialects really tie the song to Tyla's South African roots. It's straight up a banger, a great dance track. The varied production throughout and the looseness of the song makes it very artistic. I really like that they let the production breathe towards the end. It takes the starring role at the end. I would love to see this performed. Push to Start is another highlight. It's a perfect blend of all of her genres. The song is about having a partner prove his worth to her. The chorus is excellent. The ad-libs, a pusha, they do all that call and response stuff. The post-chorus has to be one of my faves of the year. I mean, the punctuation of the rhyme scheme, hesitation, motivation, destination, the delivery and inflection is just very methodical and natural. There's almost like a science to how she constructs these songs. I found that throughout the record, but definitely on here. Back to You is another great addition. I feel like the vocals on the chorus are some of her smoothest yet, and the outro is heavenly. I think this is great mid-tempo R&B about a toxic relationship that she just keeps on coming back to. The production and her voice come together to really sell the conflict emotionally. I feel like all these bonus tracks are kind of hints as to where she's gonna go next. Now, for the core album, the intro is a really cool moment. It shows her in the process of her craft. You can hear a song in the back that has not been released yet, and Tyla in the studio with Kelvin Momo, a South African DJ. Safer is actually the first proper track. This one's got a really cool percussive backbeat that again does a good job of anchoring Tyla to the track. It does establish the running themes about her choosing danger for the sake of love and connection. The backing vocals feel like a chorus of voices in her head telling her about the risk. It's a very subtle track. Water, of course, is a smash of the record. I feel like the dynamic nature of the track, the range that she displays in her vocal register, that's what made this song a hit. She goes high, she goes low, ebbs like the waves herself, and the lyrics being both sensual, humorous, but also delivered seriously. We all know that what the song is about, but the earnestness in the delivery, the emotions in her voice, it never feels like a joke, and the chorus is just perfect to sing along to, and the instrumental, again, I give it high marks. The drums feel like a riptide, but the smooth pull-back motions of the waves returning to the sea, it's very fluid, very smooth, very classic. Truth or Dare feels like a natural extension of Water sonically, but lyrically it's a very salty, truthful track about an ex who's back because she's famous. Each verse does actually tell the story of this opportunistic man who comes back into her life. The pre-chorus and the chorus really interrogate his motives. Again, the post-chorus shakes up the song up and down. I feel like the only thing that the song was missing was a bridge, a common complaint I have about many newer artists nowadays. Number One with Thames is a highlight of mine, one because I adore Thames, but also because the song again is very smooth. The transition between Tyla and Thames just works. Thames' rich vocals contrast and complement Tyla's very well. I feel like the message of the song, putting yourself first after a bad relationship, to feel like the million girl, it's not heavy-handed. These two Afrobeats queens, they just came together to maximize their joint freedom. Breathe Me is immaculate. I love this track. The paramedic metaphor extends to the production, the ways that her vocals really match the lyrics, going airy in the chorus to evoke a breath. I really love the voice control on this one. It's a very good technical showcase of her talent as a vocalist. I'll Fill Your Lungs CPR would come off as corny if it were delivered any other way than it is here. Sammy Soso and Ryo's production really blooms. The use of the strings towards the end is a really deft touch. Butterflies is another Should I Stay or Should I Go track. It comes at the center of the record, so it kind of feels like a climax of the story. The guitar running line makes the song stand out. I couldn't help but think of SZA a little bit on this track, who I think would have killed a remix of this. Again, Tyla's understanding and usage of a post-chorus to give the song some breathing room sets her apart from her peers, and Sir Nolan did a great job. On and On takes us away from love for a moment to capture the joys of a party that you just don't want to see end. I felt like this one sonically tied back to Water. The song says party like it's 95, which really does work because this does evoke 90s R&B. I couldn't help but think of Aaliyah. Just from the sound and the structure, the chorus is ear candy. Her tone and the drums that hit towards the end of that chorus, I really do treasure hearing this on headphones. I highly recommend this record on headphones, by the way. Jump with Gunna and Skillabang. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm so sorry. Definitely a highlight and a celebration of her South African roots, where when she comes in, she just has this signature attitude to her. Her verse drips with swagger and class, and the pre-chorus, really, you can just tell that she's vocally flexing. I really love how simple the chorus is compared to all the verses, which tend to be chattery. I feel like Gunna's verse is also equally great. This one's a must listen. Art is another great track, the lyrical metaphor about being open to becoming living art for a lover to admire and own. It's very intimate, it's very well thought out. I'll be your piece, your ART. It's just sensual and sophisticated. Like the balance that she displays on water is also on this track. And the music video for it has to be one of my favorites for the album. She really knows how to do a visual, and I would like to see more of that on her next record. On My Body fuses her style with some Latin pop courtesy of Becky G. It ends up being a really neat collaboration about seduction and trying to get a lover to make their move, which is like a varied kind of topic. Becky G's verse really just matches Tyla's playful one, line for line, and when they get together on the chorus, it does underscore Tyla's flexibility with genres. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Priorities. This one is a really good track. It's guitar driven, so it's unique in that form. It retains the bass drums, but it's also really about her coming to terms with the end of the relationship. I feel like the message of this one is really cool because it's about putting herself first in love, life, and career. The ambiguity about what she's singing about or who she's singing to makes it more universal. Spreading Yourself Too Thin was such a relatable thing to hear about, and the instrumental really does match that feeling of being deconstructed and pulled apart in real time. The album closes with To Last, which was one of her first ever songs, so it's kind of a full circle moment and proof that she really knew who she was and who she wanted to be early on, which is one of the points of this video. She knew who she was. This track covers a love that she feels like the lover did not want to give a chance to last, so there's this really tragic underpinning to it. Thematically speaking, it really does close out the record as a post-mortem for this broken relationship and her finally closing the wounds. The instrumental breaks on this feel like a conversation on their own before she dips back in. It's a very haunting track. Overall, Tyla Plus, very solid debut project and deluxe. I feel like there were clear single choices that she chose correctly. For people wanting variety, this record has it. But also the cohesion is really there, and cohesion is something that the Academy and most critics really look for. It's a very deceivingly simple album, like on the surface, but it contains a very rich, solid story that is resolved by the end. So I definitely have to give it a solid 8.7 out of 10 and a high recommendation. Everybody don't sleep on Tyla. Like, let's make her the next big star. She deserves it. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I want to give a quick shout out to members. Thank you for supporting my channel and taking that extra step. A shout out to my subscribers. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Someone had actually requested this, and I had been listening to Tyla, so like I thought it was kind of cool that it intersected and came together. We are approaching Grammy nominations reveal time, and honestly, this is going to be the biggest bloodbath ever. I'm still prepping a few other video essays for later next month. I can't wait to share those with you. Comment below what you think about Tyla, if you've heard of her, if you've checked her out, what you think she should do next. I am super curious. I think she's great. As always, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you next video, hopefully.